What's going on, Sumolings? Thank you so much for joining us for another product walkthrough webinar. I am Lindsay, and today I am joined by the team over at EZBILLING360. EZBILLING360 is a tool that automates the entire billing process, including time tracking, creating invoices, and monitoring sales. It's starting at just $59 for a lifetime deal on AppSumo right now. Before we dive into the tool, I just want to tell you a few quick things. The first is that if you if you want to do what Sumo King is doing over in the chat room and say hi to me, or you can go ahead and tell us a little bit about your use case. You can tell us why you're interested in EZBILLING360. We love to hear it. You do that over in the chat. If you want to ask us any questions about the tool, about the deal, about how to get set up, anything like that, go ahead and leave those questions in the Q&A box down below the walkthrough or below the video, and we will circle back to those at the end of the walkthrough. We also have Ami from the EZBILLING360 team here to answer some questions. And then the last thing is that there will be a replay of this, so you can watch us as many times as you want. And if you need to step out, that's okay too. All right, that's it for me. Hey, Jeff, how are you doing?
Good. How are you today?
I am doing very well. I am very excited to have you here.
Likewise.
I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to you.
Sounds good. Okay.
Have a blast.
Thanks. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Pleasure to have you join us today. I'm going to start with giving you a real brief and to the point introduction as to why we created EZBilling to begin with. And then we'll focus on how to use the product, how to get it started, how to make it smart, how to make it work for you. So if we take a step back and why I came to create EZBILLING360, basically because I saw there was a need. I was very frustrated. I looked at on the shelf, off the shelf invoicing. This is going back many, many years, going about 15 plus years. And I found it very hard to manage my invoicing. I was a solopreneur, entrepreneur, if you will. I found it very hard to do all the number crunching, invoice on time, do the follow-ups, and everything in between. I looked at the various products out there. They were, they did their job, but there were so many things missing, and I felt like, to get this thing right, I need to either take a college course or change the way that I completely work. And I didn't want that. I wanted something that would actually be made for business owners, not more from the accounting perspective. A lot of terms we're not used to. We just want to get our job done. So with that being said, I went and sat down and created our first version. Later on, we basically sat down with a friend of mine. He says, you know what, why don't you make this available to everyone else? I said, brilliant idea. Not only can it be good for us, but we can actually help people sell this to the world and maybe fill a void that other people likewise are feeling. So with that being said, with all the complicated stuff that was out there, I figured, why don't we create EZBILLING360 and voila, here we are today. So I want to share my screen, I guess. Let me try to do that. Hopefully we won't have too many technical difficulties. Here we go. Hopefully you folks can see what I'm seeing.
Yep, looks great.
All right, awesome. So when you first sign up for EZBILLING360, basically we'll be doing a little bit of hand holding. We realize this is a brand new product, nothing you've seen before, but so we try to make a little bit more easy to kind of like transition you into the product. You will see this, welcome to EZBILLING360, and you basically are guided as to where to find things, what each thing does, and you basically click through it, and it basically notifies you when you click on it, what it's going to do. So we're going to do a quick walkthrough of that, as we just did. It basically says, congratulations and welcome aboard. Now we have our customer success manager, if you will, Mr. Bill Dunright himself, available here on the left-hand side also. What he is basically here is basically to do even more introduction to you, and he's going to walk you through creating your first client. And you can actually click here and you'll see a video of instructions on how to do that. So without going too much into details as far as, or following him right now, because that's outside the scope, but you can do so on your own, we're going to just go ahead and move through the process. Now, one of the things that we have found that people required most is a quick way to access their most used functions. So we introduced 8 of them. And when you click on the quick links icon, and by the way, as you move your mouse, you can see that you're not just left for the original wizard to show you how and what each thing does. Basically, just hover your mouse and you'll know exactly what each thing does. And you can walk over here, you'll be able to see that as well. All right, so with that being said, going back to the quick links, we have 8 functions. I'm going to click on Add New Client, which is something that most of us want to do, at least initially. Okay, so we're going to come over here and we're going to say John's Sports Shop. I'm creating our first client, just so everybody knows. And I'm adding a quick phone number. You don't need to populate everything here. And I'm going to have a little sense of humor here, Joe Piscopo. And we're going to basically select the state, and we'll go here to the email. We'll create a makeshift email. Doesn't have to be anything real right now. And we're going to say save an instant invoice. And what that does immediately, so we made this basically the save an instant invoice, so folks will be able to, if somebody were to call them, hey, I need for you to help us remotely. If you're an IT company, that's very handy. If you're in a service-based business and you offer remotely, especially with COVID-19 right now, you do a bunch of work remotely, you can just add the client right away and begin to invoice them straight away. So once we click on instant invoice, save an instant invoice, you'll see your first invoice. And here we take you through another setup process. And basically, we're telling you, hey, how do you add your logo, right? Let's customize this to make it as per what your company needs, right? So we can either drag or drop the logo in here, or we can browse for it. So in this case, let's browse for it real quick. And I'm going to select this, and I'm going to copy it here, and we're going to crop the image. I'm going to say OK. You'll see that the logo automatically is placed here. Now, I also want, and by the way, folks, when you do this, this is for every invoice moving forward, so you don't have to repeat this process. I'm going to click on Edit the business address, and I'm going to change it, okay? And I'm going to type in this, okay? And click 614 Cranberry Road, New Jersey. Once I click Save, you'll see that this is also updated here. And now moving forward again, just like the logo, you can see this is an invoice for John's Sports Shop. And like the logo, this will be on every invoice moving forward. The information we entered from the previous screen when we created the company is listed right here. We did not finish the entire address. If we want to come back and edit it, we can obviously do this here, okay? And then the system will update it and put it into here. I'm going to start adding things to my invoice. I'm going to type here. I'm going to select the date in which I performed the service. Let's say it was back on the 8th. Let's say I fixed somebody's laptop. Fixed Alan's laptop. And over here, I enter how many hours I worked. I enter the rate that I want, and I charge New Jersey sales tax. That will be appended automatically. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Once I'm done, I click the check mark. And it's an easy, folks, as easy as clicking on Send Invoice, saying yes. And immediately the invoice is sent out to the address that we actually put into place where we created this particular client, John's Sports Shop. Now, when we send out an invoice, what happened to the invoice, right? We all want to know where the invoice is, did it send out correctly, what happened, etc. Immediately after you send an invoice within EZBILLING360, you'll see that you're taken to the View Invoices screen. And over here is where all your invoices begin to show up, all those that actually got sent. And you are given a wealth of information. EZBILLING360 was designed with you in mind. So we took the perspective of the business owner, the manager, the high-level people as to what they want to see, and basically give them the access to the information that will make their life easier. And with that being said, not only do we do that, but we also give you context-sensitive information, meaning that you can come over here and you can click on the invoice, and voila, the invoice opens up and you can see the actual invoice, okay? If I want to see more information about John's Sports Shop, I click over here and I can see all the information about them, including how far they are away from our office, so we can calculate maybe on-site visits and know what the charge would be, etc. The date the invoice posted, was it emailed? Right now, all invoices are emailed by default to the billing contact, and that's the one again that when we created a client, when we went here, and we clicked on Add New Client, that email address to send invoices to. This is what I'm talking about. We entered an email address. That is obviously, you can edit it later through Manage Clients, which is located here. And you can click on Manage Clients and you can edit all information regarding these clients. Again, this is the same thing as clicking on the client's name, just making it a little bit more available, more accessible. Pay grade is a nice nifty feature, and I'll demonstrate this in a little bit. And this is basically just like, you know, we all have clients, we all want to basically run with them, make them happy, and you know, do our job. And in turn, we want to get paid. However, as we all know, sometimes clients take a bit to pay. And when you, as your business grows, it's kind of hard to keep tabs on who's doing what, how fast they paid. Are they really a good client? Are they making a lot of noise that maybe, you know, you want to focus and more on clients that are actually producing for you as opposed to clients that are bringing you down? When you look at pay grade, the feature, we're basically grading your clients' paying habits. This is unlike anything I've ever seen before. This is because as my business grew, I needed to know who I'm actually supposed to focus with. Not that we don't want to service, I don't want to give the wrong idea. We want to service everybody, but we also want to make sure that we're getting paid on time and we don't have to chase the client over and over again. And in time, maybe they make too much noise. So pay grade is basically assigning a grade A through F, just like, if you will, like your report card, okay, when you went to school. A, obviously, they're paying within 30 days. B, they're paying between 30 and 60 days. There's a whole article. And by the way, you can access a lot of articles directly through here. You can access a lot of video tutorials directly through here that will actually demonstrate how to do certain things. More to come, obviously. We are a startup. We are growing. But these will get more and more populated. So if you have a pay grade for, excuse me, a client with a pay grade of F, obviously something is wrong. They're not paying you on time. And you may want to reevaluate that decision. So this begins to work as soon as the client pays you their first bill in full, and then we monitor their paying habits. So you're always in the know. Let's continue. This invoice that was sent was for $100. Immediately as you come over here, you can see the total amount paid in this column, and then the balance left. And I'm going to open up the obviously viewed, or I shouldn't say obviously, but one of the things that we also do is once we send out an invoice, if your client clicks on the link within the email that got sent out to them, if they click on the link, we know that they've obviously viewed the invoice. So you're getting an indication here that your client has actually opened it. So look, people sometimes open and forget things, but again, another indication to provide you some feedback that your client opened the invoice and I guess manage the relationship. If he always says, hey, I never got it, maybe it's something that you need to discuss with them. I'm going to show something here real quick. We have an email templates feature, and I'll go back to view invoices in a second. The email templates feature is basically, we'll go into invoicing, allows you to basically set the email that are sent out from EZBILLING360, okay? You can come over here, and for new invoices, we give you this out of the box. You may not want this particular dinosaur here, so you can move this out. You can rewrite this entire thing, and every time a new invoice gets sent out, it'll be customized to how you speak, how you want to portray yourself to your client, right? And the nice and cool thing about it here is we have different available tokens that you can plug into the email. You can do WYSIWYG here, and you can change fonts, you can underline, again, pleasing to the eye as to how you want your clients to view this, and create, you know, customized emails for different things. So keep that in mind if you want to customize your emails going out from the system. I'm going to go back to view invoices, and let's go a little bit more, a little bit more in depth here. I guess we'll have some questions, and we'll talk about more as we continue. As you open up the invoice within EZBILLING360, you're getting here a non-paid. So we give you a little status whether this was paid. If the client made partial payment, this will say partial payment. This is the same thing as the viewed column in the previous screen. If this was viewed, you'll know over here it will turn green. You want to download a PDF and email that to the client, you can do that directly here. You want to view invoice, you want to view the history, you can click on view history here, okay? And basically we take you here and we show you everything. We log everything, and I mean everything, okay, into your system. When the invoice posted, who was it emailed to, what's the address? We give you the link that was embedded in the email that got sent to them. So you can actually open up the client portal. Just be cognizant of the fact that if you click here, then the invoice will show that it was viewed. So if you want to actually get the fact that whether your client actually themselves opened it, don't click on here right away, and give them some time, I guess, to open up the invoice. If at any point you want to resend the invoice, you want to nudge them a little bit, you don't want to wait for the automated system, you can click on resend email, and then you can use the standard email or late notice. So if they're a little bit late, you can do so directly here using this feature, okay? All payments here will actually be listed as well. We log the date, the time, everything you would want to know, balances, you name it, will be here, and we can show this a little bit more in depth a little bit later in the program. If you, unlike other software, by the way, if there's a payment to be made using a credit card, we don't charge you additional $10, $20 a month. Your money, you keep it. Basically, you come over here and you say enter payment, okay? And you can select what kind of payment the client either, sent you a check, if they do a credit card, a money order, etc. I can edit the amount here. So let's say they sent you $35. I can come over here and basically then come over here and select my payment method. Now, if I select credit card over here, we have not yet set payment card processing. That needs to be done. We'll go through that in a little bit. It's a fairly simple process. We work with PayPal, we work with Stripe, we work with Authorize.net. Anything and everything that you process directly through EZBILLING360, including chargebacks, everything should be done exactly through EZBILLING360. We maintain a complete record. You're always in the know, and you always know what happened, when it happened, who it happened by, and what they did. And we give you, basically the transaction ID, so you can follow up on all that stuff. So I'm going to close here. You can even print this invoice. And by the way, folks, I would recommend you use Google Chrome. That's where we have tested this. This is what it is built on top, or around, if you will. And this will be the best thing for you. Now, I'm going to continue. The reason why we built, and this is going back a little bit, is basically to help Bill, because billing is such a chore and can drag your business down. It can bring you down. You'll spend less time with your family, less personal time. It literally can drive you nuts, okay? And again, we built this to help us with our billing, not only for sending out invoices, but also with the follow-up process. Also with charging late fees in case you have those clients that continually don't pay you on time, okay? I'm going to show you a quick thing, and I'm going to go into company setup. And over here, the system is properly informing me right now, folks, and I forgot to mention this. And this is something that I should have done in the beginning, but that's okay. Basically, it's telling us, you need to tell us a little bit more about your business for us to go ahead and work more smarter and more automated on your behalf. So that's what it's telling us here. And what I would recommend, I'm going to close out of this just to demonstrate this a little bit better, okay? This basically, you see this number 2 jumping in here. This is, again, to help you walk through the product a little bit easier and a little bit more straightforward, so you don't have to second guess, okay, what do I do now? If you come over here and you click on this number 2, you see that Bill Dunright wants to walk you a little bit more. This is the automated piece that we just went through that the system informed us we haven't yet completed. I would recommend you do this as soon as you log into the product. Click on this number 2 and select this and walk through that. And also we have a little wizard here that will help you set up your credit card processing, your gateway in other words. So let's click on this. I'm going to walk you through this real quick. And it's saying welcome. We need to collect a little bit more information about you. This is the wizard that basically makes easy billing more smarter and more of an assistant to you, rather than you having to remember, how much to charge, who, and when. So let's discuss this a little bit. It's asking you 9 a.m. Well, it's telling you what's your start day. If you start your work at 9 and you edit at 5, basically, great. Tell us in here. And the reason why we ask for that is because within the ticketing module, now we realize not everybody will use the ticketing module, and the ticketing module is there to begin taking notes from when a customer calls you until the issue that they called for has come to a proper resolution. Now, if you charge in tickets between 9 and 5, then it might be one rate. But if it's before 9 or after 5, it might be a different rate. So basically, you're telling us between 9 and 5, this is the below figures is what I charge. Okay, and this includes, by the way, your standard invoices in case you do not use the ticketing system, and maybe it's something that you want to use in the future. So with that being said, I'm going to say, what's my hourly fee? I'm going to say, let's say $100 an hour. And now it's asking me, what's the minimum on-site charge? This is basically saying that if I come to your location and I spend 5 minutes all the way less than 1 hour, if I have this set to 1 hour, that means that it's not going to charge based on increments. It's going to charge the full hour, regardless of how long we worked at the site, right? So it's basically doing calculation on your behalf. Now, if you don't want a minimum on-site charge, leave this 0, okay? If you want billing increments, if you bill by billing increments, select the billing increments that you're using. We use quarter-hour increments, and as well, some people we have come to learn, including us, when we visit you on site, we charge an on-site service call fee. We're going to say we charge $35 in general for everyone. Now, day of the month that we bill, we usually bill on the 1st. And I also want to take this opportunity to just explain that this is basically setting up your company as a whole. That means as new clients come in, they will automatically inherit these hourly fees, the start and the end time, as far as knowing what to charge them, minimum on-site charge, all these things that we're doing right now, including the billing date. Okay, and you can see a little bit, a quick tutorial here that we've put together that explains this a lot greater detail than I'm doing here. You can click it to view it at any time at your leisure, and it's also available through the videos directly through here. So I'm going to click Save and Continue. So I told the system basically how I want to bill, what's my amounts, increments, etc., and the billing date for everyone in my company. Now I'm going to click Save and Continue. It basically knows that we're in New Jersey. Fine, perfect. And it's asking, well, when you sell services in New Jersey, what is the tax rate that you want us to automatically apply? So we're going to click on, let's say, 6.25%. And we're going to say now the same thing for products. Again, if you want to learn more information, you could put your mouse on I and they appear throughout the application. So once I click Save and Continue, I'm going to select, this is basically a feedback for us as far as who signed up for our product. And then boom, once you're done. Now you've made the system a lot smarter. So I'm going to go back into the company setup profile. Before we went off on this small little tangent, we discussed that the system can do automatic follow-ups for you and can actually charge late fees in case your clients do not pay you on time. As you can see over here, there's many tabs, but if you go into the default client profile, this is what gets applied to every new company, as we said before. That was the information we just completed in the wizard. You can see that the $100 quarter-hour increments, 1 hour on-site, you charge an on-site service call fee. This is the rate over here. I'm going to pass this for a second, and again, if there's any questions, we can talk more about that. Here's the tax rates that we entered. You can change them as a whole here. Here's the invoicing. Okay, we know that it's on the 1st of the month that we're actually billing. This is the invoice footer method. You can change it to your liking based on the policy of your company. A lot of you have been asking about CNAMEs and sending from your own custom domains. This is the way you would do it. There's no extra fee to do so. It's included with your AppSumo plan. All you got to do is basically click here and you fill in the information. There are some DNS changes. And again, if you want to find out more about doing this, click on the help section here and search for CNAME or custom domain, and we'll give you more information there. By the way, you have these settings here. Do you want to receive a copy of all of InfoSet to your email? So as you know, I think we've mentioned this before. If I come here and I go to view invoices, I can see all the invoices that got sent to the company. Some clients not only want to be able to see it in view invoices, but they also want to see it via email. So we have the option, if you click yes, we'll actually send it to you via email as well. Okay, this is now going back to my original point. Do you charge a late fee for unpaid invoices? If I say yes, okay, you can charge based on flat fee or percentage. I'm going to say flat fee. What is that flat fee? We can say $10 and charge after how many days that the invoice has not been paid in full. This will automatically charge them $10 and it will appear in their next invoice automatically without you having to do so. Okay. By the way, as your clients pay you, okay, you will get notified in the alert section, just like this number 1 is telling us we still have to complete the credit card processing. As your clients pay you, you will get notified here that they get paid. If you want to turn this feature off, you can do so here. I'm going to get client email notification, and I'm going to click on late payment notifications here. And I'm going to say yes. By default, it's turned off because not everybody wants to do it, at least maybe not on a global basis, but maybe they want to do this on a per client basis, which we will talk in a minute about. We automatically take a look here, automatically send late payment notice emails. We're going to say yes. After how many days should we send out these late notices? You can click here instead of 30. Let's say you want to give them an extra 15 days. You can click on the recurrence pattern. How often do you want them to receive this late notice? Okay. And who do you want this late notice? It's only sent to the client, or do you want to receive it yourself? Okay. So this is how you would configure that. We're taking a little bit longer than we wanted to, but let me pick up the speed a little bit. I'm going to go back to Instant Invoice. If you're working specifically, you're a solopreneur, you don't have yet a big business, and it applies to big business as well. But if you don't need, dashboards and all things like that, this will be ideal for you as well. Let's say you work for a client. You want to now count how long you're actually working for them. We do the time tracking. Within the invoice itself, click on Show Timer. Click on Start the Timer. Okay, the system will actually, as you're talking to them, as you're on site, you started this timer, it's ticking away. You want to stop the timer, okay? And maybe you want to restart it. You took a little bathroom break. You don't want to charge them for it. However you work, different people do different things differently. You want to reset the timer, you can do it here. But the cool nifty feature is if I click Add to Invoice, you can see that the system knows that you charge $100 an hour. The tax rate will automatically get entered here, okay? And I'm going to say here, fixed billing system. So I can type billing system, okay? And then I'm going to append this to the invoice. Okay, we can see that it charged New Jersey sales tax. I'm going to click back here. It says 6.25%, folks, because that's what we told the system to do, to charge 6.25%. If I want to see the actual taxes, how it applied and to what, this will give me a complete breakdown, okay? We have in the system, so we'll close out the timer. And you can use the timer multiple times, by the way. Within the system, we have things called packages, products, and expenses. And basically, these are things that fall outside of your hourly rate. So if you charge a specific rate for some service that you do, you basically come here and you add it, okay? Let's pick today's date, and I'm going to go through this real quick. We're going to service package. And what is the service package that I do? Let's say I'm going to come over here, select it, and I'm going to say rebuild customer computer. Okay, now I'm talking about, this is basically from an IT background, because that's our background. But if you're a plumber, this could be replace HVAC. If you're an electrician, this could be replace an outlet, install an outlet, etc. You decide. And then let's say over here we charge $350. This description is internally, so we know if we want to find out exactly what we're talking about internally, so other people using the product, because we are a multi-user friendly product, what it is that this actually pertains to, we will see the description. You can enter it here and they'll be able to see it. So now we're going to click Add to Products. Now the cool thing here, if you come over here, you'll see that as you build these things, you won't have to re-enter them. So even though you're billing John's Sports Shop, you create another company called Cindy's referral service. It doesn't matter. If this is what you do, your menu items will appear here, and that also includes anything that you add as product, which is tangible items that you sell. If you have a client expense, this could be something called like mileage. I drove 30 miles and it's charged 35 cents a mile. The system will automatically calculate that for you. Now, also things to know here, even though we charge $100 an hour, if you want to give this customer a break or charge them more, it's up to you. I can come over here and I can change my rate. The system just knows what rate to use as you go ahead, so you don't have to remember, okay? I'm going to say save, because we can save invoices and come and work on them later. And if you come over here, you'll see there's now a number 1 in invoice saved here. If you have hundreds of clients, you can see that there. This John Sports Shop, okay, everything we save, who made the changes, how much was the balance, etc. You'll know everything. One thing I do want to talk about is something called custom profiles. And custom profiles is basically, think of the scenario when we initially set up Easy Billing, we did it on a global basis. That means every company that we create assumes those parameters. Let's say you have clients that charge different rates, and I don't want to remember, I have client A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to Z. Doesn't matter. I charge a different rate. Not necessarily that'll be crazy, but let's say, for whatever reason, your company works this way, I charge a different rate. Great. All you have to do is really assign a custom profile to a company, and basically you select them. And when you do that, we're basically copying everything from the company profile, the initial setup that we did, and actually pushing it in here. And then you can come over here and you can change things, right? You can say, okay, for this particular John Sport Shop, I'm going to charge, instead of $100, I like this guy, so I'm going to give him $70 an hour, okay? Minimum on-site charge, maybe, I don't know, I guess I don't like him that much. Maybe I can change this to 0.5, okay? Maybe I don't want to charge this guy a service call fee. Maybe he lives in a zone where the taxes are a little bit lower or higher. We can change that as well. Special rates is a different, that has to do with tickets. That's outside the scope of this tutorial, at least. I can change the billing date. So if I bill him on the 5th, I can do that. I can change that. I can add here custom who I want to email these to. You can separate, if you want to email your invoice to multiple contacts, this is the way that you do it. You come into a custom profile, you can select custom contact, you enter their email addresses separated by comma, it'll do that for them, it'll send to those multiple people. Do we charge a late fee for unpaid invoices? Again, these are things exactly almost verbatim as the company, the global setting that we've done, but now on a per client basis. And then over here, again, this is all the same thing, but on a per client basis. So I'm going to click Save. Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot to enter this. I'm going to leave this as this. I was waiting for the answer. Okay, and now I'm going to go into Instant Invoice just to show you folks how that works. And let's say I'm going to add a new setup laptop. And now you can see over here immediately the new rate is $70 because now we know that it's a $70 per hour rate for this particular client. Now, if I create a new client, it will charge them the original rate of $100 an hour. I'm going to go now shift gears real quick. I hope this helped you folks. You probably have some questions going on. I did not yet look at what Ami has been answering in the background. I'm going to show a company that we already set up. Give me a moment. I'm on a different screen here. One second. Okay. Okay. We're logging in right now, and I'm going to move this here. So as soon as we log in, you will see that we have here a dashboard that got lit up like a Christmas tree, right? As you bill, the dashboard becomes alive, becomes more intelligent, becomes more informative, and provides you real-time stats. Don't go based on your gut, because running a business is sometimes, yeah, you can say it's based on gut, but the more facts we have, maybe our gut feelings will be better, right? So we have here a customizable dashboard also that you can change and move things, and it will save it directly to your liking. And what we've done, again, this is from a 10,000-foot view. I want to know my accounts receivables, how many invoices I have outstanding. This is a very poor managed company, obviously, but just for example purposes, we have about $64,000 due. And then we break it down into age groups, how many invoices per age group. And the cool thing, again, is when we first started, we said that everything is clickable, everything is context sensitive. So me having to scroll through here to get more information is really non-productive. So you can click on any one of these, and you can, for example, if I click 0 to 30 days, I can see all those invoices that equal 0 to 30 days, and I can see the total amount due for all those invoices. I can filter it based on a specific client. It's already filtering 0 to 30 because that's what we select from the dashboard. We can see all invoices, anything outstanding, partially paid, not paid. You can even cancel invoices here. I'm going to go back to the dashboard because we're running again out of time. I want to open this up for questions. If you're using tickets, this will actually, it's a very informative widget. This particular widget or tile, if you will, tells me I have 21 open tickets, of which 19 are assigned to me. I have 5 which are under the severity of normal. 4 of them are mine. And again, all of these are basically clickable. So if I click on this particular thing, it's going to show me specifics to this level of tickets and who and what they're for. And folks, these tickets are also automatically billed for every month. So if there are tickets that you have in the system that need to be billed, or they're chargeable entries. You've done work for your clients, you maintain the exact history of everything you need to maintain. It's very cool. A lot of software don't do that. You will have to go into many different, you'll go into potentially different softwares in order to accomplish this. Easy Billing allows you to do it directly within here, and it's integrated tightly with our billing engine, as well as the calendar, which is available here. Want to quickly zone in on here. A lot of times when we're running a business, again, with all the paperwork, everything, we're just rushing to get things done. I want to know who my type clients is. I want to spot upsell opportunities. Who is out there that maybe, I'm getting lost because I'm so involved with, my everyday things. I'm kind of losing track of where I can pick up my business and sell, maybe, upsell a little bit more. So this is showing me exactly how much money got generated for who, okay? And maybe on this guy, Mr. Doofenshmirtz here, maybe we can pick up the game, because obviously here, there's $44,000. Over here, we have $7,500, okay? This is great for spotting upsell opportunities per client basis, to say, hey, maybe I can sell them on something more recurring. Maybe I can sell them on some service contract or subscription that I charge on a monthly basis that I didn't realize we weren't doing. So that's a great opportunity there. We break this, everything that you send out within EZBILLING360, we monitor your sending habits as far as what you sell within the invoices that you sell, okay? And we actually graph how much money each one of those revenue streams is making you. So if I have different things, again, outside of my hourly rate that I charge for on a monthly basis, we show you a 12-month period from today going back a year, so you can spot trends and see, hey, man, I would need to get this up to a certain level, and I want to see a higher line going back a year. Otherwise, I'm really been dragging myself here. And this is break fix. This is the hourly. This is the subscriptions. If this is, you have a recurring, which we haven't talked about yet, again, outside potentially the scope, but if we have some questions, we'll take on there. This is subscription revenue. If you sell a monthly service that you charge for on a recurring basis, this is what it will show you. Product sales, tangible items that you're selling, which service or subscription, which are really services that you are selling, which one you're selling the most of. So you can say, hey, I need to pick up this. I'm not selling too much of that. Maybe I need to pick up this. Again, this is to keep you informed, because otherwise, with all the number crunching and sheets you have on your desk, it'll be impossible. This is what a Fortune CEO, previous Fortune 500 CEO told me. This is everything that he would ask for on a daily basis. This is on an enterprise level that we're giving the solopreneur. You may not view this as important, but as you become more business conscious, if you're a solopreneur, you'll see how great this thing is. Not only that, once we have revenue streams, and as again you start to use the product, we actually contrast and compare all the revenue streams. So you can see, hey, you know what, in this I sold so much, but I need to pick up this. I'm not saying service package sales is really low, right? So all these things, then if you only want to compare certain ones, you can just compare two together. So the choice is really yours. We break it to you in a pie format here. If you want to see what you've made your sales in. Again, same thing as this, just a different format. Here, this is expenses, by the way, where your company's spending the most, so you're actually to take maybe steps to minimize those expenses, make decisions based on that. And as you have employees, if you add more employees to this, we actually compare how we take a look at how productive they are. So again, you're trying to grow a company, you don't know what your employees are necessarily doing, and the way that that will help you at least find out if they're doing something, if they're not doing something, if they're actually being productive, if you will, is you can compare here, and we compare the 12-month average of revenue they've made versus the last 30 days. So you have a way to see, hey, are we slowing down? Why is he not doing work, etc. So that's this part. And then we look at it from, if you are using the ticket module, we're taking a look how many tickets you closed today versus the last 30 days as well. So this is on a high level, folks. I guess one thing outside of this, and again, there's video tutorials and help documents already in the product that will help you learn more about this. But there is one thing I did want to discuss, and before we open up to questions, and that is something that we do, and that's the automated invoices, which we haven't talked about. So when you go into Invoices here and you click on Edit Upcoming Invoice, basically, we give you your client list. These are active clients within the system, okay, that you bill or you're in business with. When we open up this Edit Upcoming Invoices, as most of you already know, we have an automated invoice part to this system, okay? A lot of us, yes, we have those new clients we want to bill right away. Your client asks you for a bill right away. You go into an instant invoice and you send it. But what happens, hey, I want to, I bill once a month. I don't want to have thousands of invoices out there. Or maybe a hybrid of both. This guy I want to bill on his regular day. This guy doesn't pay me. I need to get an invoice in front of him quickly so he'll have more time to pay me within time, etc. This is what the automated invoice part looks like, okay? So if you recall in the beginning, we took a look at the wizard, and the wizard, we finished the wizard rather, and we entered a billing date that we bill for on a monthly basis for all clients, okay? This now, if you take a look at the top, okay, we're saying edit upcoming invoices, edit upcoming invoice, the company name, and the post to date. That means that whatever we add into this invoice will automatically be billed on October 1st of 2020, okay? Now, it's important to remember, automated invoices do not get sent out automatically if there's nothing within them, okay? There's got to be at least one line that you enter them in order for them to send. It will not send an empty invoice to your client by itself. That's not smart, okay? This will actually, when you edit the automated invoice, it will actually, when you add items to your automated invoice, it will actually send out those, the invoice because there's at least one line item in there. If your client calls you, they want to view the timer, or you're working on doing something for them, and you don't want to send them the invoice immediately, you're not going to open up Instant Invoice. You'll open up this automated invoice, click on the start time, click on stop, add to invoice. So whatever you just built for here will actually be sent to them on the 1st rather than you sending them instantly. Hope that makes sense. And as we can analyze this invoice real quick, we can see we have service contract that is being billed for automatically here. We have subscriptions, things that we sell for on a monthly basis. Again, this is a topic in itself. And we're noticing that there's late fees that are entered here as a result of not paying invoices on time. This is all for me, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was worth your while. I hope it made sense. If you have any questions, Lindsay, I'd like to open it up now. Take it away.
Let's do it. Hello again, Sumolings. We're going to go ahead and answer the questions that you've got here in the Q&A box. If you would like to add some more, now is your moment. This first question we have coming from AJ, are accounting features available like P&L, trial balance, balance sheet, etc.?
Okay, so great question. And the way to answer that is basically, we're not going to pretend we're not an accounting product, okay? But we are an invoicing billing product. We have integration with Zapier currently that you can send over invoices to them so you can actually run something like QuickBooks in conjunction with our product to give you the information that you need. In the future, and if you've taken a look at our roadmap, we will be introducing a tighter direct integration with QuickBooks. So it'll be a lot easier than potentially working with Zapier. However, in the interim, if you need the PLN balance sheets and all this kind of stuff, which we totally understand, that is something that you will need to use our product with something like QuickBooks.
Thank you for that. All right. This one is longer. How would I build a progress invoice for a client? So say they have $3,500 bill, but it's split up into 3 steps, an initial deposit, a second invoice, and only after they've approved the progress of the work, then a final invoice.
So you can use either the automated invoice if it's something that I imagine you probably don't want to do that because you don't know when they approve and do things. So what I would do is I would have an instant invoice here, and I hope I understood the question correctly. So if I come over here, I can basically enter the invoice, enter the item into the invoice, bill them that $3,500, okay, send it to them. Can you repeat the question? I want to make sure that I don't think I
Sure.
understood it
It's
perfectly.
yeah, basically they want to split up this invoice into 3 different steps so that the person pays it at 3 different times. So there's the initial deposit, a second invoice
Okay.
after they've approved the progress, and then a final invoice upon completion.
Right. So we do not have anything that monitors or that you can configure currently into some sort of a staging thing where there's an approval process and you can break it down into 3 steps. This will be something that you would have to do by creating instant invoices for each one, or I guess in this case, if there's one, you can even maybe do it on an automated basis, depending on how quickly you want it to get in front of their hands. But for now, you'll have to create separate invoices and do it that way.
Awesome, thank you.
Sure.
Barbara missed how the email template was accessed. Can you show her that?
Absolutely. Okay, hi Barbara. I remember speaking to you. So basically, Barbara, you would go on the left menu, you go into admin settings, and then you would click on email templates. And then everything that we basically send out invoices for within Easy Billing, you'll be able to click on the module that you want to change for. And in this case, you'll click on invoicing, new invoice, and basically you can change it to your liking, remove the graphic, add a graphic. And if you wanted to say something specific, we give you different tokens that you can enter them in here, and we will actually replace, so for example, you do invoice number, when the email goes out, it'll actually show the invoice number, okay, et cetera, and the link. Everything is done directly through here. And on top of that, if you don't like the default template, invoice template that we have, you can change it directly from here, and you have 8 to choose from. Hope that helps.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
An anonymous attendee wants to know, where would we process a refund?
Okay. So it depends on how you go ahead, right, and actually do a refund. One, you can come over here and, for example, you come over here, you can cancel an invoice, okay? That invoice gets canceled, removed from the dashboard. All the numbers that we propagated there from this invoice will disappear. And there's 2 ways in which, other than canceling the invoice itself, right? That's not applicable to everybody. There's 2 ways in which you can issue credits within EZBILLING360. One, you can do it on a pre-tax basis, and that's via credit adjustment. Or number 2 is you can do it via a post-tax credit, and that's via what we call the retainer. The retainer is, if you work with retainers, yes, that works, and we count the balance down based on how much your client bills for. We maintain a balance going forward until it's depleted, etc. But you can also use retainer as a post-tax credit. So it all depends. If you made a mistake, for example, on an invoice and you charged your client for something that maybe you shouldn't have, and you charge them tax, the way to actually issue a credit is you go into the client's module, click on the Manage Clients. And over here, when you go over here, as soon as it loads, okay. So let's say we go here, Mr. James Taylor, we made a mistake on his invoice. We will go to the action menu and then click on credit adjustment. And once we have this credit adjustment open, we say, what kind of credit are we giving this guy? So we say, let's say $100, okay? And in his state, it's 3.3% based on this profile. This is a different account that we walked through before. You're clicking add, you're saying comments, made a mistake on prior invoice. And what this does is, if I click save, it says basically we're issuing this on a pre-tax basis, which means essentially when you're giving a credit, because we charged them 3.33% before New York tax rate, we're actually not only giving them the $100, but we're also giving them 3.33% on top of the $100, right? I hope that makes sense. Easy Billing will take into consideration what it actually credits them on the next invoice. And you can see over here, this is the history log, 3.33%, and this gets automatically applied to the next invoice that he does. Now, if you want to do the same thing, and I'll pick up some speed, I'll go to retainers, but now I want to issue this on a post-tax basis, meaning I'm giving him, I screwed up, I did something wrong, maybe it's a different reason, I don't know, it doesn't matter. I can come over here, I can say I want to give him $200, okay? If I'm charging him by credit card for retainer purposes, I can do that. Let's not confuse things. For this purpose, I'm using retainer as a credit payment detail So this is, I can say here credit, I can type here a description, but for this purpose, now you can see over here, I have here a current balance of 200. And this is a good example, by the way, that you can see when we add a retainer, how it goes ahead and subtracts it, which invoices it gets applied, etc. So what will this do? This will give now a credit on a post-tax basis when we send out the next invoice. So if the invoice is $250, they will only have to pay $50 because this is on a post-tax basis. This is like receiving payment from them after taxes charged, after the invoice is generated. If it was $250, $200 gets subtracted and you get paid $50. Hope this helps.
Awesome, thank you. How can a client open a ticket? Is it via a web link?
So a client does not open tickets in EZBILLING360, and I should say that at least not yet.
Cool.
Right now, this is specific to the administrator, meaning you or your team. So client calls in. We have a wizard that will actually help you create the clients if it actually runs for the first time once you set up EZBILLING360, or you can go through these steps. I can select different things here. And this is a topic in itself, but once you get used to it, it's fairly simple. With us, set up configuration. Oop. Okay, this is the way that you would do it yourself, and I hope I'm not shooting the gun here, but right now the client cannot do it. You have to do it. You maintain this because, again, this is tightly integrated with your billing. We keep track of everything that you bill, and if you click on update here, we have also a timer here, so as you're working with somebody, you can see that the time that you started here, if I hit stop, watch the end time, that will also be entered there. If you charge them emergency fees, holiday fees, all these things, if you want to instantly bill for this ticket, you can do that. If you're an administrator, you can do price override. All right, I'm going off on tangents, but to answer your question, this is something that is done currently internally within your organization. In the future, we have received requests to do exactly what you're asking, and you can anticipate this will probably be a feature by next year, though we cannot guarantee it because development is a process. So
Cool.
hope this answers.
Thank you.
Sure.
Can a client be given a coupon code for a discount?
Not directly within this current system. That's an interesting question. I'd love to hear more about it. If you want to chat with me online, I'll be happy to hear more about, about that. But you can again assign them, the credits as we already discussed.
Can we send invoices to different clients on different dates?
So yes. So when we set up the system initially, and we went through that wizard, it asked us, the times that we work, how much we charge hourly. Everybody that signs up for EZBILLING360 will inherit those rates. So another meaning that as you use EZBILLING360, we know what to charge them, when to bill them, etc. If you want to bill them and change the rates and bill them on a different date, all you got to do is go back, if you recall, we go here into custom profiles, and you can assign them a different billing date, different rates, etc. This is where you actually change things specific to a client and take them out of the herd, if you will, of the global, how much we do everything for somebody else. This is on a per client basis, so you can come over here and you can change things specific to them, including the billing date, which is here. Hope that helped.
Yeah, awesome, thank you.
Sure.
Can you set up the late fee as a percentage of the outstanding amount,
Yes.
i.e. on the partial outstanding amount?
Yeah. Yes, and
Cool.
you can do that directly to charge a late fee. You can stick a percentage, and then you say what the percentage is, let's say 15%, and then charge after how many days. So you obviously want to do it after the allotted time, net 30, whatever it is that you do, and then the system will automatically do that for you.
All right. Can a subcontractor have their own dashboard/login?
I know this is a feature that people have been asking for us. Currently, no. This is specific to you. This is your business, so we want to be discreetly, provide this information to you and the team, whoever you assign roles and permissions that can actually view this. We do know that there's a need and a desire to do that by many folks. We have received that, and it will be something that we look to. As far as time frame right now, I cannot answer that because there's just so much things that we are building, including a mobile app. that's coming next year. So I want to be fair to everybody and set expectations the right way, not mislead people. So bear with us. This thing is just going to grow, and great things yet to come.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure.
I believe I saw this come up in the chat. So it might be a commonly asked question. If you have multiple companies, can I use this for invoicing for all of them or for only one?
Okay, so that's a great question, and that's another feature that we will have hopefully next year. A lot of people have been asking, can I use this to manage one brand or more than one brand, meaning one or more company? And right now, it's for one company. So when you buy an AppSumo code, it'll be for one company. You buy two codes, you can actually create a separate company, but it will be under a separate login, separate email address. So, and then you can configure it. But in the future, this is a feature, again, that people have voiced that they would like to see, and it will be forthcoming.
Awesome, thank you. I believe we predicted this question would come in. What currencies are supported?
Okay, so right now, folks, just so you know, when you set up EZBILLING360, it actually automatically configures itself to take on the default currency of the country in which you reside in, so in which you do business in, I should say. So if you're setting up in Canada, it'll assume you want to bill in Canadian dollars, right? If you're in Brazil, it's going to use the Brazilian dollars, etc. Right now, the product works specifically within the currency of where you do business. We are working hard, and by first quarter next year, that I can tell you, we anticipate to release a multilingual, multi-currency system in which not only will you be able to see the product in your native language, but also be able to use the Invoices feature to send out an invoice in your native language, but also be able, if you're in Canada and you do business with folks in the United States, you'll be able to bill them using using US dollars and bill your local clients using Canadian dollars. So it is a feature. This is the one that we're currently working on now. So anticipate to see that first quarter.
Awesome. We have a request to see the Autopay feature.
The Autopay feature. Okay, so right now, if you go, assuming that you set up the credit card processing, which is done through here, there's a payment, EZB Autopay. Okay, and this is a system that is currently integrated with PayPal, exclusively with PayPal, that allows the companies that you bill. So for example, let's say we have a company called Acme Go Inc., right? I can enroll, well, this actually filters it out. I can enroll Acme Inc. in EZB Autopay. And a 10,000-foot view of what this does is basically anytime you generate an invoice, instead of your client, it will still email the invoice to your client. However, it will mark it automatically as paid, assuming that we automatically were able to charge for the invoice automatically. So again, what does this do? This allows you to automatically collect payments as invoices are generated on a per client basis. So there are, and people have voiced this to us, and we do it ourselves. We use the actual PayPal. So when we bill our clients, every time, specific clients, every time we bill them, no matter what the invoice amount is, it may fluctuate month to month, whatever that amount is, we automatically charge for that invoice, whatever is the number, the total amount due, automatically our clients just gets a receipt with a zero balance that basically that invoice got paid. Now, people have invoice concerns. Hey, I don't work with PayPal. I basically use Stripe. Well, the good news is within the next month or so, and please don't hold us to it, but within a month or so, we will also have this integrated with Stripe. So, and that means that as soon as you set up your client here, and all invoices as you configure it, we will also be able to use Stripe as your processor as opposed to PayPal. So that is coming.
Awesome, thank you.
Sure.
Barbara wants to know, how would I bill a monthly charge that I do not want to go out automatically?
That's okay. Great question, Barbara. Basically, when you set up the system, again, you told us what billing date you bill your clients on. So in order for you to add something to be billed on that billing date, all you got to do is go to Invoices, click on Edit Upcoming Invoice, select that client that you want to bill to, right? that you want it to be billed on automatically on the 1st. And basically what you're telling the system here is you're editing this automated invoice to be sent on the 1st, okay? So I can come here and I can add an hourly charge. I can come over here and I can add a different, something that I charge. But at the end of the day, if you wanted to automatically bill on the billing date of the month that you chose, come to Edit Upcoming Invoice, enter that item into that invoice, and this will automatically, as you save it in here, okay, and now click Save, this will automatically bill on the 1st of the month to Acme without any further action on your part.
I think she wanted to know about not automatically sending.
Oh, not automatically. Okay. Well, for that, you can use Barbara. I'm sorry about that. I misunderstood the question. So if you come into the instant invoice, you come into the client that you want to bill, you edit, you enter whatever it is that you do, and you enter how many hours you worked on it. Now, this will not, if I click on Save, this will save the invoice. I can come back to it, edit it later, okay? And then I can send it when I want to send it on my schedule, not necessarily on the day of the month that I previously selected. Make sense?
Awesome.
Hopefully.
Thank you for showing us both. I appreciate it.
Sure.
All right. Will the, this is a follow-up for a question we answered a while ago. Will the credit reverse the card charges?
Okay, so when you did credit charge, it's basically within internally within EZBILLING360, as well as if you did so that's the pre-tax, and if you do the post-tax, again, that is internally within EZBILLING360. In other words, you're giving them a credit through the system, not charging back to their credit card. However, if you go into the payments module, okay, and you go into view edit payments, now I may not have this one because again, this is a test account, okay? So if you come over here, again, this is a test account, okay? And you'll be able to, if there is a credit that was charged under the action menu, you would see an option to do a chargeback. And when you do a chargeback, that means you're charging the card or the processor, you're sending a request for them to credit that amount. So you would be able, yes, you can do that. And this is directly through the system, through the payment modules under interview payments, okay? And all your payments as you enter them will appear here under the, and I'm sorry, I do not have this because again, this is a test account. But if you go into the action, you'll see a charge back menu item. Just follow the instructions there. It will credit that payment back to the client. Not only that, if you have a payment, let's say somebody paid you with a check and it got bounced back, you'll be able to charge them the late fee for the check using the same feature. So, and you can cancel payments through here. It's very, very adaptable to the way you work. So.
Awesome. Regarding late fees, will the late fees in the second month be added on top of the previous late fees charged?
Yes.
Cool.
That was easy.
Collect your late fees, people. Do clients have to create an account or do anything in order to pay an invoice?
No. As a matter of fact, let me show this real quick.
Yeah.
It's a good question. So every client within the EZBILLING360, right, has a client portal that we generate for them. And as you can see over here, this is actually a good example. So we paid actually $1 payment towards a balance that we had $271.24. The balance is now $270.24, and this is the transaction ID in case you ever need to call PayPal and discuss it. However, I want to show you, this is now, if I open up the history log and I click on this link, as we discussed earlier, this opens up the client portal, okay? And basically, this is what the client sees. And the cool thing about this is we designed this to save you time, right? One of the key things is, especially as solopreneur, as you're starting off, entrepreneur, you're a freelancer, or even growing business, right? In order for you to grow your business, you need your time. Time is money. Time is your value. Time is your lifeline. And we're all so busy running around chickens with no heads. At least I can say that for myself. So the idea of the client portal is to empower your clients to be able to manage their accounts without the need for having to call you. Of course, there are times it's your client. You're going to need to speak with them, and I'm not saying don't speak to your clients. This is just an injection of a way to free yourself up and empower them so they can manage their own account. And what do we mean by that? As you can see over here, this invoice was for $271.24. This invoice balance currently is $270.24. Their account balance is $2,441. So automatically, you can see over here, they are told that, yeah, this is your balance here, and you actually owe more money than just this invoice alone. They can download this PDF, they can pay it now, and if I click Pay Now, you will see this is what they look like, because this account is using a credit card. They are allowed to choose either credit card or PayPal. They can enter their information here, they can edit the amount, and then that will automatically go into the balance. You'll automatically get notified that a payment has been made, as we discussed earlier. But going back to the time, giving you back your time, they can come over here and they can see any other invoice that's open. They can select it from here. So let's say I want to view this invoice 9188. Okay, this is not a good invoice to see. Let's say I go to 9291. Okay, so now over here you see tickets being billed for. Okay, they can see over here their tax rates. Okay, you can see what the tax rate was applied and how much they were charged. But the cool thing is also here, and I'm going to go back into the original invoice that we had, and I believe it was 9303. Am I correct? Yes. So say, well, what payments did I make, etc. Instead of having to call you, they can click on, they can click on View Payments, and they can see here without having the need to call you what payment they made, when, the form of payment, was a full payment, partial payment, etc. They are in control. And again, this frees you up to take those phone calls and have to stop what you're doing, lose focus. This is another tool built into EZBILLING360 that gives you back more, better time management, and empowers your clients. They feel great. You feel awesome because now you can free up your time and do what you need to do. So hope this helps.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Sumolings, we're going to go ahead and wrap up here today. We're a little bit over time. We have just one question. Can clients pay via internet banking if my business is based outside of the US?
Okay, so that's another question that we've been receiving.
Yeah.
So if you have, look, PayPal is in multiple countries, right? Stripe is in multiple countries. Authorized, so long as you have an account with one of those processors, this will work for you. But you have to set up and provision your account with those processors in order to integrate properly with EZBILLING360. With that being said, in the future, we are planning to introduce a host of new payment gateways that will be more local to not only to the United States, but countries outside the United States. I know we received pay, for Razorpay over in India, and we received others, escapes me now, from Brazil, Spain, Australia. Those will be forthcoming, folks. I can't tell you exactly when, again, because I want to keep it real. I don't want to, overpromise and underdeliver. I'd rather tell you the truth up front and you be content with what I'm telling you. But these things will be coming. As far as time frame, right now, it's just hard to say with everything that we have going on and the features that we've committed ourselves to. So, but stay tuned, they will be coming.
Thank you very much. Sorry, my dog is losing her mind. There was a follow-up question to what you just showed us. They're doing street cleaning in my neighborhood is what's happening.
Okay.
Is the customer link emailed to customers automatically?
Yes, that is automatically emailed, and you can see that in the email templates as we've shown earlier. If I go here, new invoice, you can see that
Awesome.
This link right here, this will actually get emailed to them.
Wonderful. And those are all of our questions. So
Yay, we made it.
Yay. Thank you so much for all of the questions. Thank you, Ami, for answering them. Thank you, Jeff, for taking us through all of this. Y'all have done amazing. Sumolings, if you have not already, you can go to appsumo.com/EZBILLING360. That's easy with an E and a Z, and then that's all one word. And you can redeem your code starting at just $59 for a lifetime deal. And of course, it is backed by AppSumo's 60-day guarantee. So you can go ahead and get set up, start playing around with it, and see how it works for you. We love to hear how it's working for you over in the comment section of the deal page. Go ahead and leave your reviews. We love them. And of course, if you have any more questions, you can leave those on the deal page as well. Thank you again, Jeff. I really appreciate it.
Our pleasure. And if anybody needs any of our help, don't be shy. Please come and visit us online. Send us emails. Whatever works for you, we're here to help you. And your feedback is most welcome, by the way.
Shy. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.